Conservatives are for maximum freedom, especially libertarian conservatives. Forcing people to do things from this perspective is bad. Okay, so everyone says they like to think outside the box, but do they? Do you really want to when it comes to liberty? I'll back into this with a thinker many of you are familiar with, Machiavelli. The Florentines said that there are two ways of fighting, the way that is proper to human beings and the way that is proper to the beasts. The human way is to use the law. The way of the beast is twofold, to use the lion or the fox. The lion represents the use of brute force, whereas the fox represents the use of deception. But take note, both of these beasts represent violence. Yes, the use of physical force and the use of deception are both ways of getting people to do what they would otherwise not do. Machiavelli treats both of these types of violence for that reason. In fact, he prefers deception to physical force because it's often, for the clever ruler, easier and cheaper. Most importantly, deception is preferable because you can force people to do something and make them like it, and you, at the same time. That leads to longer-term acceptance of your rule. Legitimacy. The lion represents physical force. The fox represents all the subtle and clever ways of getting you to do what the powerful want. Both are forms of violence. A liberty-loving person should not like either one, and I dare say they don't. But it may just be that those who use the fox to force and tyrannize over people do it so well that liberty-loving Americans do not even perceive it and actually like it. Here's an example. Think about how many young people say they want to go into STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, careers. They say this, however, because our government gives grants to develop STEM programs, and STEM ideology is taught in education programs. Students are then exposed to a virtual drumbeat of STEM, 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 enticed with scholarships for STEM, made to feel inferior or hopelessly unemployable if they don't like STEM, depressed because no matter how hard they try to, they don't love their STEM careers and jobs. A whole generation or two will grow up and go into careers that maybe don't fit them, where they are less happy, but they will be serving the economic interests of the U.S. government, and supposedly of its majority, the middle class. The STEM drumbeat, with all the grant money behind it, is the use of force, nay violence, to obtain the outcomes those in power desire. Here's another example. Think about how many of us are driven by the desire to buy things. We dream of owning a house or a bigger house, a car or a bigger car, that new pair of shoes, that smart TV, that phone, that convenience food that will save us time. From one perspective, this is all, quote, free economic activity, end quote. The invisible hand is at work producing the optimal outcome. But what are the outcomes really? Maybe we get a mortgage that eats up so much of our income we have to work harder and longer to pay for it. That serves the banking industry. Maybe we go into consumer debt, another win for the banking industry. We stuff our closets and find ourselves without an outfit that makes us happy. We can't find anything to entertain us on our TV, or we become so addicted to our TV and to games that we can't get off them. We get fat, and then we pay someone else to help us lose weight. Wait, who's the winner here? Why do people think that consuming will make them happy? Well, they are surrounded by a drumbeat of advertising, constantly. They pop up everywhere, in every way. They promise that if we purchase this or that, we'll be happy. If that's the case, why are so many people depressed, anxious, inactive, sedentary? Who's really in charge here? Now, many of you may say, yes, but we know these things and people choose the STEM careers and the pocket pizza of their own free will. Well, isn't that a nice thing to accomplish? Forcing people into doing what you want and making them feel like it's their choice. People are social by nature, and they have a very hard time resisting drumbeats. All this to say that conservatives should look not only to guard against government tyranny, but the tyranny of the economy's priorities. What touches your life almost each and every minute? Government or the economy? Do you really want to be an individual? Or do you want to live with pretend individualism, where you get to pick among choices someone else has made for you? Are you really free? What would rebellion really look like?